Can you let me know your name, your year, your major, and the office that you're seeking in ASUCR?
My name is Devin Plazo. I'm a third-year English major, and I'm running for ASUCR President.
Okay. And to be president, you have to have previous experience in ASUCR, and what is your previous experience?
I currently serve as the President Pro Tempore and Chast Senator.
Okay. Can you describe the job description of ASUCR President?
Sure. So as president, I would represent the student body on a lot of different important boards. I'm a member of the UC Council of Presidents. I sit on the Board of Trustees, and basically my job sitting on those committees is to voice the concerns of the students. And I'm here to make sure that the office is running smoothly and to make sure that students are getting what they want from us.
Okay. How does your prior experience as President Pro Tempore and Chast Senator, how does that prepare you to be president?
Currently, as President Pro Tempore, I work with a lot of different students to make sure that their legislation is what they want, as well as what ASUCR is allowed to do under our Constitution and bylaws. I've worked with students from all different paths of life, and I think that position has helped me kind of understand the office and understand the way the legislative branch works. So in turn, I can make sure that as president, that branch is running efficiently and making sure that students are being heard and making sure that I'm accessible and approachable and as transparent as can be.
Okay. Having served in ASUCR, I would imagine that you're familiar with some of the inner workings. And from your experience, what is something that you'd like to see change within ASUCR, and how would you go about specifically creating that change and making sure that it happens?
I'd like to make sure that ASUCR is not a self-serving body. I want to make sure that everyone that sits on the horseshoe knows that we're here to represent the students and that everything that we do is on their behalf and we're their voice. And I want to make sure that ASUCR is as accessible and as transparent as possible. So enforcing office hours, making sure that the rest of my executive cabinet is making sure the legislative branch is holding office hours as well as executive cabinet. I think that there should be more ways that students can get involved. Senate meetings can be very intimidating, and I don't want students to feel intimidated coming to bring concerns to ASUCR. So coming out at noon and putting up a big whiteboard and letting students come out and write their concerns on the board is a very laid back and easy way for students to let us know what's going on so we can raise those concerns to the proper administration. And holding more Meet the Senate events and Meet ASUCR, I think it's really important that students know who their representatives are, because currently a lot of students don't know who represents them, and I think that's a big issue because we are here to serve them, and anything that they want to see to improve their UCR career, we're here to implement.
What piece of legislation or what action has ASUCR taken this year that you think was successful and that you'd like to build off of for next year? Do you think that was beneficial to students and was implemented well, and you'd like to see continue on in some fashion and improved upon next year?
I think there have been a couple different pieces of legislation that have really impacted a lot of different students. The first would be having November recognized as Transfer Student Appreciation Month. Senator Akeem Brown actually brought that piece of legislation to the Legislative Review Committee, and Senate voted on that. And I think it really is stressing the importance of non-traditional and transfer students on campus. The Transfer and Commuter Lounge recently opened, and that's a big feat for the transfer students, and I think that it's great that they have that space for themselves now. The food pantry resolution to ensure that ASUCR helps in the establishment and the maintaining of the food pantry is a really big accomplishment for all of us, because now we can ensure that those students that are skipping meals because they can't afford it, and we're making sure that they do have a meal. And I think that it's a great way to show that UCR is in solidarity with all those students.
One of the issues that has faced ASUCR ever since the split from the parliamentary to the presidential system has been kind of communication between the executive branch and the legislative branch, and sometimes those two branches have been at loggerheads or have been at cross purposes and not liked each other very much, to put it simply. What would you do as president to kind of make sure that both branches are talking to each other and can function well together and have a good working relationship?
I've actually been working on that a little bit this year. As President Pro Tempore, I'm kind of a member of the legislative branch and the executive branch. I'm the liaison between the two, and I've made sure that I've been open and accessible to senators so they can bring me their concerns and I can relay those to the executive branch. And as president, I would just continue to build those relationships with the senators as well as the new President Pro Tempore. And I just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable in the office. We're all working together. We should be one unified body, and so I think we should be able to raise concerns in a respectful and manageable manner. And I want to make sure that I continue doing the work that I have been doing this year as president.
And the last question I have for you today is, simply put, why do you want to be ASUCR president?
I want to be ASUCR president because I think the experience that I've gained can really help the student body, and I want to hear everything that I want to hear all the voices of the students, and I want to make sure that everyone is heard. My party represents a lot of different groups on campus, and we all plan on representing these groups in office, and we want to hear everyone's concerns and close the gap between administration and the students, because ASUCR is here for the students. We're here. We're privileged enough to have the ability to build relationships with administration, and I want to be able to ensure that all the students are being heard and that their voices do not go unheard.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.